Hey guys, welcome to this video lesson. My name's Dan from Your Guitar Academy and we've got a John Mayer song called Not Myself today, and it's a great one for beginners who are just that little bit more advanced. So not total beginners, someone who's a beginner but wants to really test themselves, loves a bit of John Mayer, and it basically sounds like this. Okay, so just before we get started going through this track, please remember that if you are a beginner or you love John Mayer and want to get to grips with his style, then we've got those two courses available absolutely free over on the website or right here on YouTube. I'll put the links below, and it's something that just will allow you to really take your playing to the next level. Also, don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment to let me know how you get on, and also please do subscribe so you get notifications in the future. Right, okay, so for this John Mayer track, we're going to be learning the verse, the chorus, and all the little intricate parts as well. So some of this has got a real beginner vibe to it, and just like any other John Mayer track, other bits have got that slightly trickier edge to it. But I do think it's well worth trying to do the whole thing and pushing yourself. So let's just start with that verse, okay, which you heard at the beginning. And the verse is this. The second time round, we get this. This is the tricky bit. So let's just go through it. So first thing you might notice, I've got a capo on the first fret. Okay, that's super important. But we're gonna refer to everything as the open chord shape that you would think. So the first chord we're gonna call a G major. Okay, because it's in relation to the capo. Okay, and you're familiar with the look of the G major chord. Now actually it's a G5. What that literally means is do your normal G major chord, but take away that first finger and just block off that low A string. So if I arpeggiate through that, that's the sound I get, okay? So that's the first chord for the first bar. The second chord is a G major 7 with an F sharp in the bass, okay? And don't worry about the naming of these, okay? It's just about getting the shapes down. So all you got to do from there is take off your second finger, put it down on the second fret in relation to the capo. So actually that's third fret, but we'll call it second fret in relation to the capo. And third finger stays exactly where it was. So you get that at the top. Now what you either need to do then is do the F sharp, the low string there, second fret in relation to the capo, with that or your thumb. Ideally your thumb, because it's a little bit easier, but you can do it with your first finger as well. Or if you really struggle with that, then just do the high section. You know, that's fine. You're still going to get a really good sound out of that, but if you can, get that low F sharp in there. Then we go to an F chord, F add 9, which looks like this. And basically what we're going to do here is kind of fret an F major 7 almost, I guess. But we're going to remove the middle finger, okay? So I've got my first finger here on the third fret in relation to the capo, open G string, and then first finger on the first fret in the B string in relation to the capo. We can also use the open E string, and if you can, get that thumb wrapped around that low F note, okay? So that second fret or first fret in relation to the capo, I'll say it a million times in this video, just so it's really clear. Get that thumb wrapped around there. Now again, if you really struggle with that, your hands aren't big enough to do that, then just ditch the thumb and just do those higher strings. Still gonna sound great. So those first three chords without the thumb are like this. You can hear it still sounds really good. With the thumb, you just get that low end. And then the fourth chord is a C major. So you all know how to play C major, hopefully. You're tackling this one. And we're going to repeat that twice. Now, the second time round in the verses, it's this chord that builds up to the chorus. And the chord is officially, we think, called a B flat major 13. It looks like this. Obviously, in relation to the capo, it's a B flat major 13. Now, there's a couple of ways to play this, but I actually think this is the easiest. I mean, you can do it also down here. And I'll show you both ways so that you can kind of decide what you want. But basically, the way to do it is you need to put your first finger on the 7th fret, okay? So now we're kind of losing the concept of the capo because we're going higher up. So I'm just going to say 7th fret. Your middle 2 fingers, so 2nd and 3rd finger, on the 8th fret on the D and the G string. And then your little finger on the 9th fret on the B string. Giving you those notes. Okay? And the A string and the E string are both muted. They just will naturally, you'll just naturally kind of block those off. And that's your chord. Now, to go from an F add 9 chord there to that is quite a big jump. Okay, so for beginners, that's going to be a challenge, but you can do it. Okay, now is the time to try and push yourself to do a more unique, a peculiar chord. Okay, because the rest of it's relatively simple if you can just get that one chord down. If you really hate that, then another way to do it, I would say, is to just do a high version of this chord. So basically, fret like you would a G major, okay, with these 2 up here. Add the first finger or 2nd finger to the 2nd fret in relation to the capo. And just play those top 3 strings. Now, if you can add the B flat, which is here, 1st fret in relation to the capo on the A string, and block the D string. But like I said, that for me feels harder. It feels like more of a stretch, harder on the wrist than that does. This is just a bit more fiddly, but once you get used to the fiddliness, it's actually not that bad. Okay. So with all that together, okay, the chords of the verse and intro, so the intro just plays the first line of the verse, okay, is G, then that G major 7, then the F style chord, and then the C. Second time round, G, G major 7, that F style chord, and then this fancy one. Okay, they're the chords you need to learn. Now let's just stop there for a second and talk about the strumming pattern. It's that, okay? So I'm just going to walk you through the arrows here, okay? So we're going to do down, 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 up, down, 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 up. I'll do it slow. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Okay, and now this would officially be counted in 16th notes, okay, which would be like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But I'm not going to expect you to kind of count through that. That took years of practicing. So the best way to do it is just kind of try and get that concept that you always keep your right arm moving. That's first and foremost the most important thing. That right arm is moving all the time. And then you just put in those arrows in the right way. So down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Notice in that little gap, I'm still doing those air strums. Down, 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 air strum, up, down, down. It will just keep it nice and flowing. Okay. Now, you do that the whole way through the track, really, that strumming pattern, apart from very specific parts. And it's got a little bit of a swing to it, so it's more like this. When I get to that fancy chord, I'm just going to do all down strums. Down, 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 down. so far, what have we got? We've got the intro, which is just simply the G to the G major 7 to the F to the C. Then the verse starts. You repeat that same line and do the second line, which has got that fancy chord on the end of it. Okay, and you do it all with that strumming pattern. Now we're going to move into the chorus, which is the easiest bit of the track. It sounds like this. And it does that twice. So it's a G major to a C add 9, which is simply just going from there to there, nice and easy, to a D major, and then back to the C add 9. And you do that twice round with that strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Simple as that. That's your chorus. Okay? Then you go back to the verse 2, which is exactly the same as verse 1, and then you go to chorus 2, which is exactly the same as chorus 2. Now after that, we come to a very different section, like a bridge section. Okay? And we're going to learn it like this, okay? Or and. 3, 4. And then we get this really cool So I know a lot of you beginners are going to be looking at that going, really? Really? I'm going to learn that? And actually, yes, I think you are. You're going to be able to do this. If you love this song, you love John Mayer, then just go for this, okay? I'm not expecting you to understand it in great depth at this point, but you can do this. This is going to be a great exercise for your fingers to move past the kind of the rut that you might be in just using normal open chords. So what this fundamentally is, if you really don't want to do any of that jingle jangle up here, it's basically just an E minor to a D to a C. 2, 3, 4. You can do that 3 times. But we're going to do it up here. So we're going to come up to the 13th fret, because this is in relation to the capo, of course. We're going to go 13th fret with the first finger on the E string. Then the third finger is going to do the 15th fret on the D string. Then I'm going to do first finger on the G string, 13th fret. And my little finger is going to stretch out to do the 16th fret right up here on the B string. And if you are a beginner having a go at this, then just try not to make those fingers go too far from the fretboard. Try and avoid doing this. You know, that kind of look. Try and get it as flat as you can to that fretboard, okay? And it is fiddly, okay, but just do what you can with that, because it's going to be a great exercise in taking you to the next level with your guitar playing. Then we're going to come down here, which is essentially the kind of D chord, or in relation to the capo D. Thumb is going to play the 11th fret on the E string, and then I'm going to take the 12th fret on the G string and 11th fret on the B string. And I'm going to hammer on to the 13th fret and then play the 11th fret again, like this. Okay. Which is essentially, for those of you that want to know, just moving around this kind of E-shaped cage chord. And then down 2 frets, so you're on the 9th fret, then you're on the 10th fret on the G, and 9th fret on the B. So we get all together this. Oh. 3, 4. 3 times. So this is the third time. And then you're going to play this really cool shape. I just keep forgetting where it starts. But essentially, it's really, I mean, there's loads of ways you can play this. I think it's easy. If you like playing with your thumb, then put the thumb on the 8th fret, first finger barred against the 8th fret D and G, and third finger on the 9th fret B string. And you should block off the A string and the E string, so you get that sound. Okay, really nice little chord there. Okay. If you hate that, then you can try it with your first finger, second, third, and fourth. Okay, there's lots of ways to fret this, so kind of do whatever you feel comfortable with. But again, this is the second time we're doing a chord which is going to push you out of your comfort zone. So really try and do it. And we just move that chord around. So we go from there on the 8th fret to the 5th fret, so where the dot is. So, and then up to the 10th fret. Same chord moved around. Okay. And then you end the bridge by going to your C add 9 and just building up to the chorus again at the end of the bar. So the whole bridge section is this. 3, 4. One more time, and then you're going to go down a semitone to do 1, and that brings you back to your kind of chorus or solo. In fact, it brings you into the solo. Now, hopefully you can get that little bit together. Like I said, that's the part where you're going to have to really dig deep to kind of get through that if you want to be able to put the whole song together. But I think it's more than worth it because it's so satisfying jumping up and going to that after doing all those open chords. Now, just to complete the rest of the song, the solo, where there's the guitar solo, is just the verse, okay? So it's just simply... we just simply go through that. But we just repeat the verse. Then to C again. Okay? Now just before it comes back, you can hear there's music, there's the guitar solo, it's all happening. We've got one more fancy bit, which is that. Okay, which is just an A7 arpeggio, which is, so imagine you've just done the F chord, and then you're gonna hit the C, 1, 2. Okay, so we're just going to simply go A, so that's second finger, first finger, fifth finger, fourth finger, I don't have 5 fingers, and then we're going to grab that note, and that takes us back in to the verse. So from there on in, really, it's just playing out the same stuff. So it goes through kind of the verse, then it goes back into a chorus. It's all the same chord progressions that you've already got. So there is a ton of stuff in here. Fundamentally, it's a really cool rhythm guitar, beginner-ish song that you can handle. And if you really want to push yourself, if you really want to go for it, then try and learn that bridge section. Try and learn that super cool B-flat major 13 chord and that other chord that you see in the bridge. There's so much extra you can get from this track. So I really hope you've enjoyed that. Please remember to like it, leave me a comment to let me know how you get on with those tricky bits. And please do subscribe to the channel as well. We've got videos coming up every single day on YouTube and of course more and more song videos as well. So I'll see you next time.